This episode of the Cult Popture Podcast was brought to you by our Patreon. If you want to tell us which films we should watch or get 2 extra exclusive podcasts a month, then please consider joining the cult and donating at www.patreon.com/cultpopture.
Hey, what up everybody? It's Richard here doing the intro for once. Yeah, that's right. Everybody's second favourite member of film franchise Fortnights. Welcome along. Happy 2019. I hope you've had a good Christmas and New Year's break. And if you haven't, I hope that this can help to bring some light into your life. So this is the first episode of Season 4. And yeah, we do refer to them as seasons sometimes behind the scenes. There's a little peek behind the curtain for you. So if you have been with us for a while, thank you very much for sticking with us through 4 seasons, and if you've just found out, welcome along. You've got 3 other seasons of stuff to catch up on. Probably skip the first couple though, but yeah, if you're a true fan, you would have actually already heard this episode because it's a live episode. That's right, to celebrate our the start of our 4th season. We recorded a live episode on the High School Musical trilogy at Crafted Coffee Company in Christchurch, New Zealand. So yeah, of course we do have some true fans out there who it's not feasible for them to come to Christchurch, and maybe one day we'll be doing a live show in a town near you, and you can come along and you can experience all the delight that we experienced doing this live podcast. It's about a month ago, so here I am, just kind of trying to vaguely remember what I spoke about a month ago to reference it, and I can't, so let's all listen to the episode together, and I'll see you at the end for the reveal of our next franchise. So enjoy.
Hello everybody, and welcome along to the Cult Popture Podcast live. Woohoo! Thank you so much for making it along. Thank you, Josiah, crab walking in front of the table. I have to say everything. I have to describe everything because this is also going to be an audio medium, and so when people listen to this when it comes out online, they need to know that Josiah crab walked in front of the table. My name is AJ. If you don't know me, I'm not nervous. This is my co-host Richard.
Hello.
Hello, Richard.
Yeah.
We host the regular Cult Popture podcast show, and today we've got a very special guest in the form of Kate Taylor. How's it going, Kate?
Great.
Cool. Make some noise if you've heard our show before. Woo. And now for the more interesting part, make some noise if you've never heard our show before. Cool. Well, you are very lucky to be listening to the first live episode of film franchise Fortnights. So this is a show that we do every fortnight. Imagine that. Where Richard and I, for the past, nearly 3 years, have been watching a randomly chosen film franchise every fortnight, right? So we have done the 2 Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants movies.
Yeah, mate, get some noise for Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants.
Yeah. And that's the only other one we've done.
Yeah, it took 3 years to get through those.
Yeah. What else have we done?
We've done the 31 Godzilla films.
We have.
Well, 31 at the time. There's now 34.
And we need to catch up on them.
Yeah, we do.
We've done the 11 Halloween films recently. We did that.
Yep, we've done the 20 Freddy vs. Jason films, which is actually 2 franchises.
And if you missed it at the start, it is randomly decided. So we just have a Google Doc with numbered franchises, and we roll a dice, and whatever number it is, no matter how many films there are in that series, we watch all of them. We do. We've done it.
Yeah.
But this one wasn't random. After all that, this one was chosen to try and... I feel like the meme that is High School Musical is hot right now, and so we want to try cash in on everyone wanting to celebrate High School Musical, which is, of course,
a decade old.
Oh, yeah.
Well, more than a decade old.
Yeah. It's also the subject of this episode.
It is.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so, hey, Kate. Sorry, I haven't forgotten.
Feel free to jump in at any time.
I know, it's fine.
Yeah.
I actually, when I did the last one, that's what you guys said. You said, when we give guests on, we kind of forget to
true.
talk to them.
Yeah.
And then you just threw me in the deep end, straight off the bat. You're like, cool, first movie, go. And I was Great.
First movie, no. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about the High School Musical series. The High School Musical series consists of 4 films, not 3 films, but there is a well-known trilogy that it consists of High School Musical 1, 2 and 3, and there's also an unknown spin-off called Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. Has anybody seen that?
Yes. Great. One person.
Yeah. So the High School Musical series, it follows a group of teenagers navigating their lives through high school, and guess what? They also sing. Whose coffee are we looking for? Soy Flat White? Over there.
That's for Jess.
Awesome.
All right,
Cool.
big ups for Soy Flat White.
Yeah! So the first film that we watched this fortnight was called High School Musical, and that came out in 2006 and was directed by Kenny Ortega.
That's not hard.
No, or it could be Ortega.
Nah,
All right. So you're right.
sorry.
So we use to kind of get a general feel for the general consensus of how films are received in the waking life. We use a website called Rotten Tomatoes, which collates critic reviews to try and puts a percentage to it.
Yeah, which is like a percentage of how likely you are to enjoy the film.
Exactly. So there's a critic score and an audience score. So the critic score is what critics said, and the audience is what you guys all said when you were asked if it was good or not. So Kate and Richard, what do you guys think that High School Musical 1 has? What's its critic score on Rotten Tomatoes?
Kate, I'll let you feel this one first.
No, well, I was just thinking about Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, and the one person that's watched it in the room is probably the only person that reviewed it on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's
Because
true.
surely there's only 4 people that have watched it now, her and us 3.
That's why.
So,
That's why it's 100% because she loved it.
but that's... Don't spoiler. Come on, sure.
Oh, come on.
HSM 1. I don't know. I mean, I think it started. It's pretty crap. Under 50. I tried.
So give me a number out of 100.
62. Under 50.
I'm
She
gonna
says
guess
62. Good one.
48.
48. It is 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is not fresh. So for all of you out here who like High School Musical, critics didn't.
But what
You're
about
wrong.
the audience?
The audience score is a bit different though. Do we want to guess what the audience score is? How much do the audiences on in general?
500%.
It would seem so. Okay, any ideas?
501.
It has 74% on
it
Rotten
was
Tomatoes.
closer.
So make some noise if you'd rate High School Musical 74 out of 100. Yeah? Yeah? Cool. And Kate, can you tell me what is High School Musical about? The first film.
The first one?
Just the first one.
Sure. Well, it's about a young lad and a young girl who go to a New Year's Eve extravaganza family holiday experience up in a snow lodge.
Yep.
Yep.
As we all do.
As we all do. And then
We've
there's
all
the
been
kids' party and the adults' party,
Yeah.
And what happens at the
Whoa.
adults' party? Well, that's probably the R
That's not
rating.
for it's a high
That's the
sequel.
That could be
Yeah.
the HSM 4. Anyway, and Troy and Gabriella, the 2 leads, meet so unexpectedly at a karaoke competition performance thing. And, the moment of magic happens, the meet cute, as one would call it. And then they end up at the same high school, and it's just their journey through that high school.
Yeah, it's kind of about how Troy is a basketballer. He's a jock, and you got to stick to the status quo. And so Troy as a basketballer is like, nah, look, I gotta. That's my jam. And Gabriella as a science geek, they both basically discover that they really enjoy musical theatre, as we all have.
So
And
do you think it's kind of like, as we would, it's like this weird Grease kind of...
Grease. It's just Grease.
It's the modern... It is Grease.
I did find some stuff online saying that the original script was Grease 3 and was about the kids of the Grease characters. Feels like it's not true.
I don't
though.
believe that.
No,
for
I
a
don't believe it either.
second.
No. I am more unfamiliar with the songs from High School Musical than I'm putting out right now. I'm going to get caught up. Cool. So yeah, it's a Romeo and Juliet, but instead of Montague and Capulet, it's basketball player and girl who's
It's
good
Sandra
at
Dee
quizzes.
and John Travolta.
Yeah.
Danny Zuko.
Cool. So that was in 2006, and a year later, it was followed by High School Musical 2, and that was also directed by Kenny Ortega. And what do you think the critics rated that collectively out of 100?
42.
42?
62.
62. It's actually 57, so more than the first one.
Hey.
Oh, that's bullshit.
One more?
And what is the audience rate? So the audience for the first one was 74. What do you think it is for the second one?
60.
Well, see, I don't. I'm just going to hold
He's
off on my
guessing all the good
comments.
numbers.
No, it's 'cause I hated it, and so I'm too scared to say.
It's 72%, so 2% less than High School Musical 1.
okay.
And Richard, what is High School Musical 2 about?
Okay, so we've had the musical was a success,
Yep.
and now it's summertime. They've all got to get jobs, and so Troy gets offered a job at a like a country club,
A country club.
And he goes, "Hey, do you mind if you also hire my entire senior
Every
class?"
single.
And not even just his friends. Imagine having the gall to be like, hey, we want to offer you a job. And you're like, oh, I'll only do it if you invite people I'm not even friends with. They just need to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, sure, because it's actually a dastardly plan by the villainous Sharpay, who wasn't mentioned in your description of the first film, despite being a very important character.
Yes, well, you described her very well as the villainess. I appreciate that. We'll get to that later.
So she has like a talent show, and she wants to steal Troy out of Gabriella's arms and claim him as her property.
Yeah. Because it makes sense.
Because
they're both,
if they sing in the talent show
Yeah.
together, it's like an unbreakable bond.
Yeah. And Sharpay's motivation is essentially like, I'm the singing queen of the high school. Troy's the singing king of the high school. It just makes sense.
Yeah, but is she the singing queen? Because Gabriella's hot on her tail.
Yep.
And is it hot on her tail or hot on her heels?
It's heel on her
Well,
tail.
Sharpay would wear heels and Gabriella wouldn't. So
Gabriella has a tail.
I set that one up for you.
No,
You're welcome.
nice.
Thank you.
It's good podcasting. Just a bit of comedy. Just a bit of comedy for the audience. So that was High School Musical 2. In 2008, we got High School Musical 3 senior year.
Make some noise for High School Musical 3 senior year.
The best one.
That was directed by Kenny Ortega. And what do critics think that has out of 100?
This will be like 64, and because it'll be the only one to have made it fresh.
Richard once again demonstrating his uncanny ability to know exactly what the score is for a movie. It is 64%. Well done.
Yes.
And what is the audience score? What do audiences think?
100.
That's 71, but aim high, I guess.
So I flew too close to the sun with that 64.
So the interesting thing about High School Musical 3 senior year is this is the first theatrical release of the series, which if you don't know much about film, this is very rare. So the first two were made for TV movies.
DComs.
Yeah, DComs. Who
Disney
knows what
Channel
DCom?
original movie. Oh, fuck, I ruined it, sorry.
Yep, you did
No
ruin
one
it.
seemed to react to it,
Cancel the
so...
podcast. So they were straight to DVD or straight to TV, made for TV movies, and High School Musical 3 went to cinemas, and I can't find another example of this happening in any other franchises. If anyone can think of one, shout out. The only thing I could think of maybe would be like there are Winnie the Pooh movies, but Winnie the Pooh's like an established...
Yeah, that like goes in and out.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
yeah.
is like an established timeline. We have, in New Zealand, we have had a few examples, I think. Like John Wick 2 came out here, but the first one didn't. It went straight to DVD.
There you go. So High School Musical and John Wick.
In New Zealand.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, and Kate, what is High School Musical 3 senior year about?
Oh, I thought you were going to take that one.
No, I'm not.
Are you going to take Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, AJ?
You are.
I'll take Sharpay's Fabulous
Okay.
Adventure.
Well, it's just basically
should we do this
about
one together?
Yeah, it's just their graduation year.
Yeah, it's their senior
realistically,
year.
like it's nothing too spectacular. However, they made the most spectacular magical movie in this one.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a favourite.
See how I just like my eyes lit up.
And
Yeah, I'm
but
excited about this one.
They put on a leaving musical because Kelsey selfishly signs everyone up for it.
Of course.
Weird move, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Do we have any Kelseys in this evening? Good.
Yeah, and this is also the first time we actually see the musical.
Yeah, isn't that weird? That's like a Mandela effect in there, isn't it? That like you never see the musical in High School Musical. The stakes are built around the characters auditioning for the musical. And
Well, it's the callbacks.
Yeah, sure, but it's odd that a movie called High School Musical.
Should be called High School Callbacks. Am I right?
exactly.
But Gabriella makes a dramatic exit as she does in pretty much all of the movies, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
and she gets a solo song, which is like the only part I skip.
Yeah.
Whew, savage.
Oh,
All right,
a lot of love for Gabriella's solo songs in here tonight.
So that was in 2008. Then we didn't get another one till 2011. Why not? And that was called Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. That was directed by Michael Lembeck. That doesn't have a critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, which means no critic watched it. Yay. But it does have an audience score, and what do you think that audience score is?
4, because 4 of us watched it.
28.
Any guesses from the crowd? Pick a number out of 100. 43, man. That's huge.
Who's watching that?
But that's also based on nothing but the people who reviewed it. So it's its own little isolated thing. This film is neither set at a high school nor is it really a musical.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have either of those things in the title.
No, I know,
be
but
fair.
it is odd to come off High School Musical and not put any of the things that made the first 3 so memorable in it, except for the characters, I guess. But they're not
I have
in the
to
title.
admit, spoiler alert, at the end, I was kind of expecting all the characters to come and see
Yeah.
Sharpay.
Yeah.
No.
But they don't.
You'd hope, but
They
no.
don't. No one
Anyway,
cares.
sorry, we'll get into that later.
The biggest revelation, and I'll get into what it's about in a second, but the biggest revelation for me about Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure is that, I don't know if this is established before this movie, but her Shih Tzu is named Boy.
Yeah.
B-O-I, like the meme. Like Dat Boy.
Maybe the meme came from this film. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's-
well, this is 2011, well before Dat Boy. Oh, shit. Here he comes in the future. So this movie, it's basically about Sharpay's she's 19, she's a year out of graduating, and she's like, she does a show at the start. It's not a podcast or anything cool like that, but and a like Broadway producer meets with her after and is like, I loved it, da 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 da, and he's like, come to New York and see me. So she convinces her dad for some reason. She's 19, but she has to get her dad's permission to go to New York. So she does
Doesn't
what
he pays for everything.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that
2011 was a different time as well.
yeah, that's true. So she goes to New York to try and seek her fortune, only to discover that the mean streets of the Big Apple are not the same as East High.
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
East High is the rivals.
West High.
Oh, no, West
West High's the rivals, man.
Actually, yeah, West
East
High Knights.
Wildcats,
Hey, we're
West
doing
High
it.
Knights.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Go team.
So basically, yeah, she's the world's not what she expected it to be, and she then finds out that the producer was actually interested in her dog and not her, because they're doing a dog play.
Yeah, because they were like, we want you.
Yeah.
And then it was the dog.
Yeah, and so she's like, you know what, I'm going to still do it because I still want to make it big and maybe I can get big by proxy. So she tries her damnedest to get Boy cast in this play, and she faces off against a 12-year-old kid who's got another dog. And man, he's a little shit.
Yeah.
Everything in this movie is because of him.
He's the kid from Good Luck Charlie, if anyone watched that.
Any Good Luck Charlie fans? Yeah.
2 of you, sweet.
And so, yeah, they basically bicker and fight the whole movie, and there's like this person that Sharpay looks up to who's the lead actress in this play, only to find out that she's actually a total horrible person, and Sharpay, she almost learns a lesson about the real world, but then she becomes a Broadway star after being in New York for a month. Meaning the message of this movie is you can treat everyone like shit and you will achieve your dreams in a very short amount of time.
And she also meets a sexy film student who's played by
Do it.
what?
I don't know who's
Guy in
played
the
by.
Carrie
Tell me.
Diary.
No, his name's Austin.
Yeah, you're welcome.
His name's Austin.
You're
I can't
welcome.
remember his last name, but he's been with Vanessa Hudgens for like 7
Really?
years. They've been
How ironic.
Fun
like
fact.
since 2011 when this film came out.
Oh, wow.
Are they still together?
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
there's talk of an engagement.
Wow.
Are you serious?
You heard it here first. Well, probably not here first, but
Yeah,
you-
she
a lot of
mentioned
you
it
guys
because Vanessa Hudgens was on Hot Ones. You guys, Hot Ones, the show, the show with hot questions and even hot wings, and they had Vanessa Hudgens on this week, And not once did they mention High School Musical.
They don't even say it.
They don't
even
even
say you were in it.
Yeah, they mentioned like, oh, you had some experience with like, fanatic teens, and it's like she said, can you actually just not say those
Yeah.
3 words at
Yeah,
any
right.
point in this?
Yeah, she's like, I want this to be like Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure and not have High School or musical in it.
Yeah.
Except it does have musical, so that joke doesn't work. Ha ha! All right, so one thing we like to talk about on this podcast after debriefing the films is what is our favourite. But before you guys chime in, if High School
I'd
Musical...
like to monologue.
if High School... No, not yet. My monologue comes later. Okay, people in the audience, people in the room, if High School Musical is your favourite High School Musical film, make some noise now. All right. If High School Musical 2 is your favourite, make some noise now. Bold.
Fuck off.
All right. If High School Musical 3 Senior Year is your favourite. And if Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure is somehow your favourite, make some noise now. Just from our description alone. All right. So I'm going to go Kate first. Kate,
Favourite one?
what's your we'll rank them. What is your favourite, but how would you rank them as well?
I'd go 3 first, 100%. Like, it's sparkly, it's magic, it's a beautiful treat to your ears and eyes.
And mouth and nose.
1 can go second because it's, it was the
Objectively
it's
better.
That's where it all began.
That's where it all began. That's where I was getting with that.
Yeah.
It was
And
the
the
start
other
of
2
something
are
new.
dead to me, so I don't
Yeah.
want to rate them. So
Okay.
they
No,
can
fair
just
enough.
sit third equal.
Cool. Okay. No, that's fine. Hey, Richard, rank them.
3, 1, 2, 4.
Great.
I'm going to go 4, 3, 2. No. So I liked the first one the most.
Aww.
Oh, a little
Is this like a
nostalgic
good?
AJ.
Yeah, is it like it shows
Well,
what our
it's-
personalities
it's
are
not-
like?
It's not
Because he's a
nostalgic.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I'm a child. It's not nostalgic because I grew up thinking High School Musical was lame as shit. Did anybody else have this experience?
Yes.
I thought it was horrible. So one of the
Here he
other
goes.
franchises that we've covered on this podcast was the 2 Camp Rock films. Go listen to it. It's a fantastic episode. You get to hear Richard singing. And one of the things we thought was interesting in the episode is that Richard remembered Camp Rock very fondly, and I remembered Camp Rock as something I was way too old for when it came out. And
I'm
Richard's
old-
older
yeah.
than me. So it's similar. High School Musical came out when I was 12 or 11, and I remember we had to watch it in class once, just as like the fun day where you watch a movie near the end of the year. And I remember when Gabriella's solo song, what's it called?
I honestly have no idea.
The one she sings in the first one about
Gotta
breaking
go
up
my
with
own
Troy.
way.
No, that's the second one. Oh. Anyway, when she's singing that song,
Can anyone remember the name of Gabriella's song in the first film? That's
There
it.
we go.
When there was me
Oh,
and
Oh,
you.
can't.
Thank you. And so I remember when that song's playing in this classroom, I remember faking, like pretending to have a seizure because I was like, this is so bad, and I wanted attention from all the girls that thought it was really cool. And
Did you get it?
I did. They looked at me, and I thought,
And they called an ambulance.
I always thought that the series was just not for, like, I was too old for it. It was lame and horrible. And then when High School Musical 3 came out, I was in like year 11, and all my friends were going to see it at the cinema, and I was like, why? I'm so baffled that people my age like High School Musical. And I was thinking about this, and then I realised I'm going to be facilitating a discussion in a room full of people that probably like High School Musical, and so I was like, oh shit, I got to like it now, like I got to get on board. So I watched them with a open mind. I was like, all right, I'm going to go in, and I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was cool. I thought...
That is so sweet, AJ.
Aw. Because
Look at all the attention you have now.
I know. And so I like that the first one has a really good message to teach the kids who'll be watching it, because the idea of the film is that even if you define yourself by a jock or whatever, it doesn't mean you also can't be a Broadway, a singer or a drama kid, right? And it's true because how many people have you met that are like 100% the stereotype that you think they are?
Plenty.
Deletes entire Google Doc. I guess to me it's cool to look at people as being more nuanced than high school movies would have you to believe, ironically, in a high school musical movie is the way to show that. Because I think when I was a kid, I watched it and I saw it as all the girls that liked this movie, they just really liked Zac Efron. They just really liked Troy, right? They thought he was hot, and that was the only reason they liked it. Now I watch it and I realise I'm Troy. I'm hot.
When I was in high school, I had a similar haircut to
So
Troy,
did I.
to Troy in the first film, and you could divide my sister's friends into two groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
One is who thought I looked like Zac Efron, and the other half thought Zac Efron was hot. There was not the Venn diagram did not overlap in the slightest.
That's hilarious. So yeah, I guess let me just kind of build on that instead of just leaving it on. I think I'm Zac Efron.
I think you've made your point.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's just
have I
leave it
made my
there.
point, or
Yes,
should I keep
yeah.
talking about how I am world famous hunk Zac Efron?
Hasn't eaten a carb in a decade, Zac Efron.
That's me. Never eaten one.
Do you want to go next, or shall
I'll
I?
just interject. Well, you guys probably, thank goodness this is an audio recording, but the people in the room, clearly I'm the same age as everyone in the room because I wouldn't be that much older than you, right? Cool, great. Don't go on Facebook, stalk me. Thanks. But I am a little bit older than these two gentlemen sitting next to me and probably a handful of you in the room. And the time that HSM1 came out,
Correct.
I was teaching at an intermediate school. I was a very, very youthful teacher, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
And-
teaching when you're 11.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's funny with the experiences of you guys saying there were these two groups of people. I was leaving to teach in Sydney in the same year, and as I was leaving, High School Musical came out, and I teach singing. And honestly, even though I wasn't a fan at the time, the songs on the radio at the time that all these little 11-year-old girls wanted to sing were Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah.
And my
Buttons.
boyfriend and my buns and my
buns.
boobs and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
love that
oh
song.
my gosh. And then We're All in This
Yeah.
comes out. And I'm like, yes, Mama, I can leave these children and they will be safe in the hands of High School Musical.
Yeah.
Ah, blessings to you. And then I left. But that was my weird introduction to, because I was just like, what is this tacky piece of crap? And now I'm just like, it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
Such a blessing to the youth
Nice.
of the 11-year-olds that I was teaching. So, as much as it wasn't my favourite, it's definitely a humble kind of.
Yeah, it's just got a
great
good,
timing.
wholesome message for kids to be watching, whereas I feel like the second one isn't really about anything. It's not really saying anything. It's just a character story.
Yeah.
And the third one, I don't know. The third one's good. I'd say you watch the first
Choose
one.
your words carefully, AJ.
You watch the first one for its story. You watch the third one for the budget
And
Yeah.
well,
because it's way bigger budget. And
Zac-
the songs are way better.
Zac
and it's-
Efron's like way hotter too. So.
Hell yeah. Because
Hell
now he's
yeah,
not
girl.
supposed to be 16. He's supposed to be 18.
Yeah, I can look at him now.
16. Well, as for my experiences with High School Musical, when the first film came out, I didn't really care. I wasn't really into it. Which is why when Camp Rock came out as like a Jonas Brothers kind of answer to High School Musical, I was totally into that. But
nothing what you've said correlates or makes sense, like, from what I know about you as a person. Like, that doesn't make sense because the Jonas Brothers were in it. You liked it?
yeah.
All right.
So I think I saw the first. You pick up the first one kind of thing. It was everywhere. They played all the songs, and you kind of are able to piece together the plot. And then when the second one came out, I didn't see it at all. I wasn't interested. People were like, "Oh, bet on it," and I don't know what you're talking about. But then when the third one came out, me and a couple of mates, and so I used to run with the jocks in high school.
Of course. We all did.
And we were having a sleepover or something like that, and then we were like, the next morning we were like, oh, should we, just for a laugh, should we go to High School Musical 3?
Just for a laugh.
And then-
Bit of comedy, lads. Bit of comedy.
Just a bit of banter. And then we went to go see it, and then I saw it a total of 3 times in the cinema.
Yes.
With those same 2 guys every time.
Each time. Hey, just for a laugh, eh? Should we go?
Well, yeah, by the third time we were like singing along. We were like, "Oh, it's Scream, the best song in the franchise." And and so yeah, I didn't even watch the second one until I think between the second and third time I saw it in the cinema. But this was like, when you have to ask your parents for money to go, and so I had to lie and say I was going to see The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves. The third time I saw it, because they're like, we're not giving you money to see High School Musical 3 again. You've seen it enough times.
Grow up, Richard.
Go see The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves. But yeah, no, and then I'm now kind of nostalgic for the first one. I don't really care for the second one. I think bet on it's overrated. It's got one good song, two if you watch the extended edition. And
twice as much racism if you watch the extended edition too. Because that deleted song had...
Huma Nuka Nuka Apawa'a.
It's not racist to say, but probably racist to perform.
It's the state fish of Hawaii.
Naturally.
Yeah, so I don't have any attachment to the second one. But the first and third, like, I cannot fault the third. The third is a perfect film. I do occasionally skip. I honestly believe this. I do. Okay, I'm not going to re-listen to Gabriella's solo song. When I listen to it on Spotify, when I listen to the album on Spotify, but yeah, honestly, I've seen the second one twice. The second time I watched it was this, and yeah, that's me in High School Musical.
Wow, interesting. Because I can fault the third one.
Good luck.
I would say the third one to me feels like a collection of deleted scenes from the first one, because it's a very similar plot. And it's kind of just superimposed into the framework of like, now it's the end of high school. And to me, there are a lot of scenes where I was like, man, probably cut this one out.
I disagree.
And it's so sparkly, AJ. Come on, it's so pretty.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
It is pretty.
Within seconds of the third film, you're like, this is the best one.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, because it opens with a slow motion shot of
Zach?
like, and it's filmed in like, I don't know if it's because of the dodgy websites I had to watch these movies off, that I had to stream them off, but like, I watched the third one off YouTube. It's the only one on YouTube that you can buy, you can rent. So I rented it, you pirates. Yeah, and it opens with like Zac Efron like slow motion, like lifting his head into frame, and during the last basketball game.
And he's all sweaty and delicious. Blue eyes, sparkling, staring right at you. I mean, come on.
And like
it's the best movie.
The lighting and everything is like just so much better than anything from the previous films.
And the choreography.
And then it opens with like this amazing song.
Yeah.
Dude,
and it's like, and it's immediately better than the first two.
Well, hey, speaking of songs, what's your favourite song?
Great segue.
Okay, I've just spoken for quite a bit, so I'll let you guys
Kate, what's your favourite song?
Well, okay. So first of all, we've skipped over the fact that Zac Efron didn't actually sing in the first movie.
Have we
Fun
skipped
fact.
over it, or is it
Well, yeah, we're here.
in my notes later on?
Is it? Oh, sorry about
No,
it.
it's not.
Yeah, great. So fun fact, if you didn't know, Zac Efron did not sing in the first movie.
Except for a few lines.
Yeah, and then they went, ooh, wow, you can sing. So there you go.
Yeah, well, because it was a guy that was like had a callback for Troy.
Yeah.
And then they envisioned him as being like a different octave or something like that. And then they were like, Zach's way hotter, but you're a better singer.
The classic
Yeah, and then when they did the High School Musical live tour, which unfortunately I couldn't go to, Drew, whatever his name is, did. I don't care, but okay.
Drew Seeley, that was, if that didn't pick up. So they from High School Musical 2 onwards, they wrote the songs to fit Zac Efron's singing ability.
Yeah.
And you've probably got this in your notes, surely, as well. Speaking of choreographers and fun facts, the choreographer is actually one of the basketball team members. If you didn't know that either. Zac Efron. He's the guy in the third one with the real shaggy hair, and there's heaps of shots of him. Like, in the first one, you're like, oh, there he is. Oh, then the second one, there he is. And then all of a sudden, in the third one, he's just like, yeah, I'm the choreographer. And it's just like, whoa, there you are. And he doesn't look like a high school kid, because his hair is literally as long as mine.
So your favourite song is the choreographer from...
Yeah. I'm just spinning some
No, it's
yarns,
cool.
I'm
just
come
yanking
on.
your chain.
Podcasting,
Yeah.
AJ. Keep it
I'm
rolling.
it's happening. My favourite
You've done
song,
this for
and I think
3
it's...
fucking years. You should know better.
And you told me to interject, so...
I did tell her that. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a romantic soul, and my favourite song is probably not just because the song is kind of nice. It's the whole visual, like, dream dancing on the roof. Take my hand, take a breath. You know that one?
What song is that?
I know what the name of it is.
Can I have this dance? Is it Can I Have This Dance?
Yeah. Can I have this dance?
When she goes up to the roof and there's like 4 plants and she's like, it's like a jungle up here.
I've never seen so much greenery.
But speaking of the choreography,
Yeah.
the choreo is just like breathtaking.
Corey.
Because he like...
It's an industry
Dope,
term.
dope.
It's
Corey.
an industry talk. He like, you know, like when he lifts her up, it's... Oh, excuse me. It's just like... Corey, it's the Corey. Yeah, it's just like, she's like a feather and he's just like this Greek god that's just like, here, my darling, you fall like a Ferrero Rocher from the clouds, you know, and I will catch you and you know, it's just like, oh, it's such a dream.
You quite like Zac Efron, don't you? Hey, and that's okay. I like him too. Who wouldn't?
Well, you are him, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to like myself because self-love is important. Even if you look like Zac Efron, like I do.
So that's my favourite.
Cool.
There you go.
My favourite, it's I Want It All. That's the best song in the whole thing. I love that song. So if you haven't seen High School Musical 3, Sharpay's song in it is so freaking badass. And what better way to announce, hey, we got money for this one, than doing the music video sequence for I Want It All, where Sharpay and her brother Ryan are singing about...
Wanting it all.
Wanting it all, you know?
And also another thing that it's like showing off, it's like, hey, we know the audience has grown up a little bit. Let's chuck Gabrielle in a sexy French maid outfit for no reason.
Yeah.
She's not just a maid.
No.
She's a sexy maid.
No,
Yeah.
of course. Because it's strange, isn't it? Because that I feel like the sequence for I Want It All is the only one I can really think of where it exists in like their fantasy. You know, like earlier on in the song when she's like on the red carpet, Zac Efron as Troy is like, Sharpay, I love you, which is, you know, it's in her fantasy. But then in her fantasy as well, Gabrielle is wearing a French maid.
See, that's where, it's inside the fantasy.
Yeah. It's inside the
And
fantasy.
it's never addressed again.
No, I don't know. I just love that song. I think it's great. I could keep listening to it. And as someone who's ashamed to like High School Musical, it makes me even more ashamed to be playing that song on repeat.
As someone who's proud to like High School Musical, because, you know, I'm not ashamed of who I am.
You'd be ashamed of who you were if you were Zac Efron, dude.
Yeah.
You don't understand this song.
I have a slightly longer answer than you two. So I'll go through film by film.
Okay.
So the first film has one good song in it, and that's Stick to the Status Quo.
Bop to the Top.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. Come on.
Even like Breaking Free, it's like, okay, I get the appeal. And then We're All in This Together is like a little over the top. But
It's a bit on the nose.
Stick to the Status Quo is a great song, and it's just hilarious. Like that, to me, that's why the film succeeded, because it has this like self-aware moment of being like, hey, everyone crowding around being like, hey, be yourself. And
Hey,
then they're
you
like,
can-
cool, I
yeah.
want to cook. And they're like, fuck off.
Creme brulee.
All right.
Okay, I don't want
or
to.
if you want to be
fact
a stoner that can play the cello, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do that too.
But yeah, the fact that like they're so encouraging for just a moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite unique for that kind of film. The second film, as I mentioned before, has two good songs. Bet on It is so overrated. It's not.
Someone just raised their hand in agreement and then immediately retracted it.
Yeah, Bet on It. Not a fan. But I Don't Dance.
Don't get me started on that.
Would you like it or not like it?
I don't dance, and then they fucking dance.
Yeah, I disagree vehemently.
I'm
I thought
sorry.
that was the worst song in the movie.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm fucking serious, dude.
It's getting fiery now.
Okay, honestly, no. Okay.
It's a great song, and the
Agree to
choreo is
disagree.
incredible. But the dance...
What?
Yeah, but they also make a big deal about not singing, and then they go, "Get your head in the game." And like,
No, but
all
can
the
I-
guys
okay.
are just
He
shaming
says,
them
okay, no,
out.
but
I
I'll
don't
give you
dance,
one-
but Ryan says, I know you can.
But then
And
they
then he's like-
angry dance. It's like Flood of the Concords. And then Zac Efron does his angry dance that Brett does as well in Flood of the Concords. You know, like it's weird.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
angry dancing. But, yep.
no.
I had something and I forgot it.
If your
But what
other
is-
favourite song from High School Musical 2 isn't fabulous, I'm going to leave this podcast right now.
Okay. Well, it's Huma Huma Nuka Nuka.
Whatever!
And then the third one, they're all great, except for Walk Away. But yeah, no, Now or Never is great. Just open the film with a banger. I Want It All, as you mentioned, is amazing. Scream is my favourite song in the film, which
Yeah.
has Zac Efron's angry like going up the
Is that
stairs
the,
like this.
Did you ever? Is that it? Or was that bit on it?
That's better.
That might be it.
What's Scream? Someone sing Scream for
Scream's
me.
like, I want my own dream, so bad I'm gonna scream.
Yeah.
That didn't
That's
work.
it. No, yeah. I for those listening, I tried to
He stood up and
I tried to
rile up the
crowd
crowd.
wrangle, but it didn't work.
Ripped his shirt off, you
Yeah.
know, swished his Zac Efron hair in the wind.
Second podcast in a row, I've ripped my shirt off.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, but pretty much all the songs in the third one are like on another level from the first two. And then Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, I'm not as familiar with it, but I didn't think the songs were necessarily a massive step down from what we've heard before.
Right.
Like they were, like I couldn't tell you one. There was My Boy and Me.
Well,
was
because
one of
the
them.
problem with the songs in Sharpay's and SFA is that that the first three movies have probably how many songs do you think are in the first three movies? Like on average, yeah, like 8. This is like 3 songs in it. So
Yeah.
it's spread out, and all the songs in SFA are contextual, like they're people singing in
Yeah,
the
they're
story.
mostly diegetic.
Yeah. Diegetic. For all those people who know what that means. So what I like about the music in High School Musical is that it's really good. Now, the movie itself is a really good musical because the songs serve a narrative purpose. You mentioned Status Quo is singing the central conflict of the movie, right? Because everyone wants to be who they
Everyone
truly
wants
are.
to play the cello.
Yeah, because we've watched plenty of franchises, and we've watched some musical franchises, and these narrative songs aren't always the case. Like, has anyone here ever seen Land Before Time? Yes. Have you guys seen any of the 14 sequels to Land Before Time?
13 sequels.
13 sequels. I apologise.
14 including the original.
14 has anyone seen any of them? Yeah. All of them? Oh my god.
Jesus.
So, for those who haven't seen it, the songs in the Land Before Time sequels are about just something that'll happen, and they go, okay, we've got to make a song about this. Like, they detract from the plot. It's like if you're walking along a pathway, and that's the movie, the songs are like taking detours. Whereas the songs in High School Musical, especially the first one, are moving the plot forward. That makes sense? And that is why I don't like I Don't Dance, because I'm like, what is this adding to the story?
Yeah, and if in the industry, just to sound like a wanker, when you in a musical, the reason why people sing in a musical is because they get to a point of their emotions where they can't express it anymore, and the next moment is most likely going to be a song, because then you can then be like, but I love you, but I love you, but I love you. You know, like it's like that kind of thing,
Okay.
right?
Just like in real life.
So you've mentioned I Don't Dance not serving the plot. I want to talk about Ryan's sexuality for a moment.
Okay.
Oh, it's from the audience. Now we've got to the good part, right?
Okay, so
Feel the shuffle in the room. Did you see how people were like,
Ryan is played in what's, for a 2008 movie, or 2006 and 7 movie, whatever, is played very stereotypically metrosexual, quite flamboyant.
Yeah.
How, you would expect a decom to portray a homosexual character. Wikipedia, if you go on Lucas Grabille's Wikipedia page, it says he's not gay, but he's often played gay characters. He's a supporter of LGBT rights, and it says like he played a character in Milk who was gay,
Right.
and he also played Ryan in High School Musical who was metrosexual. Because at the end of the third film, he does end up with Kelsey. However, I Don't Dance is the most homoerotic. Like, it's one of the most homoerotic scenes in all of film. Because you have Ryan, who's like regardless of his sexuality, he's very comfortable with who he is. He's very proud and confident, whereas Chad is so repressed. And then the whole thing is like, you're, because basically Ryan's saying, you're like me, you dance, and then Chad's like, no, I don't go for that. And then eventually
bit of
they
subtext.
start to dance, and it's like, oh yeah, they're having a good time. And Chad realizes, wow, there's this whole other side of me.
Wow.
And then it cuts
Does
away
he
from the
realise that
scene.
in the song? Is there a moment?
Well, that's the whole thing. So he starts dancing. But then the interesting thing is that it
Does he
cuts
know
away
he's
from
dancing?
Ryan and Chad, and then when it cuts back to him, they've swapped clothes.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
So like,
Whoa.
I Don't Dance is the best song in the whole
because like,
franchise.
like surely they've just been off having sex, right?
That was a
Like, because
that's a creative decision
that's
from the director.
Yeah, it's so like they're sitting there, they're eating their chili cheese fries and laughing and being like, ha, 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 and they're wearing each other's clothes, and it's real weird. But like, I think that's as like explicit as they could go with
Right.
what they were trying to say. That it's like
Interesting.
this is two characters finally releasing their pent up sexual energy, and this is as explicit we can show. Two men having sex in a 2007
Wow.
decom.
Yeah.
And then people were like, no, you can't have a character be gay. It's 2007.
Yeah. They knew it at the time. They're like, in the future, maybe
in
we'll
the
be more
future,
progressive, but right now,
we
no.
say all these hateful slurs for homosexuals these days, but it's going to be bad in 10 years. But they do. But then in the third one, he gets shipped with Kelsey, and to me, that's Disney being like, no, he's not. Don't worry, he's not gay. He's not gay. They just their clothes fell off and they grabbed the wrong ones. So that is why I Don't Dance is the best song in the franchise, and it does follow your stupid pathway analogy.
It does. You've convinced me, Richard.
That was a solid argument.
No,
I'm
it
sold
was.
too.
It's probably the best argument I wasn't prepared for against an opinion I've had ever. I really stumbled my way through that sentence. I was like, what's the next word in this sentence going to be?
Yeah, because AJ warned me before the podcast not to bring up Ryan's sexuality.
I didn't say
Because
don't bring it up.
he's like, Richard, you're going to say something wrong. I think I handled that pretty well.
No, you did. It's weird that you brought up that part, though.
Yeah.
Fun fact. No, we're still talking about it. I'm not moving away from it.
Okay, cool.
What's his name? The guy who plays Ryan?
Lucas Grabeel.
Lucas Grabeel thinks he plays him intentionally. He in his mind, Ryan's a gay man. And
Is this like you're saying? Said this?
he talked to the director Ortega and was like, Ryan's gay. I'm playing him as a gay person. And
Right.
Ortega was like, yep, he's a gay guy. And then what you're saying is essentially true, that Disney were like, I don't think so. And that's sad, you know. But I guess, you know, now we've got LeFou and the Beauty of the Beast remake is gay, and so we're making.
Disney's got all those little. I don't want to say nuggets. That's weird now. But like, you know, if you go on those sites that it's like, hey, did you see this in The Little Mermaid where
Right.
the priest has got a boner? Have
Right.
you guys seen those? Yeah.
Have you guys seen The Little Mermaid boner priest?
It's true story though. Like if you go, if you're this inclined, if you Google like Disney's like weird things,
Disney boner.
like, yeah, Disney boner. No, it's like honestly, there's like there's little pictures of things that they've just thrown in these little kind of weird
like
moments.
in The Lion King when Simba like slumps on the and the dust spells SEX.
Yeah, stuff like that. Or it's in the sky or something.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
it's FX, but there's
Yeah,
just kind
but
of
there's
an extra
this-
line on the
Just
I
don't
don't know,
spell SFX in the clouds because
Yeah.
it's not going to look
Do
like,
like
SFX.
the visual
So who
team.
knows? Maybe we're just overanalyzing it.
But
But
that's what we do at Cult Popture.
That's
So
it.
that's the point. All right. Can we please talk about Sharpay Evans for a second and why she's the best character?
yes.
Yas Queen.
One of my favourite parts of the franchise, and this always cracked me up every time I saw it in the cinema, is because Sharpay, we've seen her in 2 movies already, and then in the 3rd movie, it's like this dramatic reveal. Who is it? Like everyone, like she's walking through school, and you see like her flat butt, and all the guys are like, but that's actually in the film as well. I didn't, yeah.
Well, they use flat butt in the film.
Well, no, but you see, there's a very gratuitous shot of her butt.
Right.
But it's like, you know. Anyway, but then the dramatic face reveal, she has a new nose.
Oh.
She got her nose done between like 2 and 3. You might not have noticed, but to
Who
me,
didn't,
like
though,
it's
surely?
so obvious to me, and it made me laugh every time.
So, all right. Following that up, I thought Sharpay, I think maybe because Ashley Tisdale is maybe the best performer of the cast.
Like in terms of what?
Like, I just believed her character more than.
Is
especially
she like
the
that in real
first
life though? Is that who
Yeah,
she is as a
I've met
person?
her.
Oh, true.
I'm Zac Efron.
Oh, true. Of course. Silly me.
It's because I really like Sharpay, but I don't like that a bunch of girls in my year 8 class like Sharpay. because they all adopted the like kind of thing that she does. And I just remember that being very frustrating as a kid.
Did you have more you wanted to say?
I wanted to interject there, but I had nothing.
Yeah, no, you just, there was
Yeah.
like, it was the,
Just
you
Sharpay,
closed
man.
the loop.
Okay, so you, like the reason why you didn't like that they were because she did an annoying thing.
Because
But
she's not fun because that's what she's like in real life. She's fun because she's a Disney villain. Like,
but she's actually like, okay, here we go.
oh,
Number
shit.
2, she's actually an awful person though.
And number 2.
Everything that she does in number 2 is so like, and then she's like, come on, Troy. Like, you know, and it's just like she gets away because she does that. And then she just like trottles off. And you're like, you were such a bitch. And then when Gabriella's like, at her at the end, she's like, what? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, and it's one of those things where she learns a lesson
unreal.
at the end of every film. It's like, I like people now.
But does
and
she,
then she's
though?
like at the
Does
starting, so
she?
she's like, no, actually, I'm going to fuck over
Yeah.
Troy and Gabriella.
That all that being, I agree with everything you've said, but High School Musical 2 is peak Sharpay.
peak.
That's her at her most Disney villain.
Well, I would say
Yeah.
Sharpay's Big Adventure.
No, that's
No, I
too
reckon-
much.
peak Sharpay.
Like they learned with Maleficent when they tried to make another Disney villain movie. Like it's you can't sit like, oh great, now we're going to watch the movie about the character who's designed so you hate her and we're going to have to sympathise with her. Sharpay's a weird choice, but also
yeah.
the best choice.
You see
for,
her like clean a
spin-off.
toilet and she's like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just what you have to do to be a
she, like-
functioning human being.
Do you know what I hate though? It's like, you know, there's all the villain stuff and whatever. But when it comes to family, she cut Ryan hard out in that to be the like queen bee of the show. And Ryan's like, what about me? And she's like, what about you? Bitch, get out. I've got Troy. And
Yeah.
she's like, come on, Troy. And he's like, okay.
He's like,
you know.
hey, Chad, come over here.
But you know, like she literally was just like, so? To her brother.
Yeah, who is the best performed character in my opinion?
There you go.
Right,
Ryan.
because of the nuance.
Because of the nuance.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just me getting
what
angry.
do you now that we've talked about Ryan and we've talked about Sharpay, let's talk about Sharpay and Ryan and how like
They're so incestuous.
yeah, what's going on there? Like the movie, it's like cool. They're brother and sister, and they both like showbiz. Cool, I can get behind that. But then the first one, the like song they sing together is a love song, you know. So it like really puts it right in front of your face.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I know kind of, you like performers, you know, like that it's like, it's us. We're going to take over the thing together. And of course, like, you know, male and female roles in like plays and shit like that are
Yeah.
usually love interests, and you got to do what you got to do.
Okay. Well, I admire your dedication, Richard.
No, I said I know people
Oh.
like that. I know where to draw the line.
You do? Where
Yeah.
do you draw
Right
it?
now, let's draw it. And moving on.
All right, list a bunch of things and I'll tell you what's not okay.
I'm not falling for that trap again. All right. Hey. Well, let's talk about the third film some more.
Gladly.
It's a good segue, eh?
The audience
Yeah.
is like, yes, please.
Do you guys go? What do you want to say about the third film?
It's just so sparkly and pretty.
All right.
It's objectively the best one.
Okay. See, I thought that there was a need to shoehorn the concept of a musical into that film because I thought that it could have just been about a prom. You know, it feels it's end of year and they got to like shove this musical stuff into it.
Can I speak from the older generation?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, what? I was talking to the lovely Chelsea, who's a little bit younger than me. So I'm, you know, when I say the older generation, don't worry, she is much more youthful than I. But as I said, I was teaching and High School Musical came out and I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, cool little 11-year-olds, off you go, play, great. And then I went away and came back and a bunch of my mates were like, oh, yeah, it's real fun, you know. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever, we'll go to the movie. Kind of probably your mates there, Richard, you know. Let's go for a
Yeah.
laugh. And I went and as the older generation, I was like, this is amazing. So maybe like there's nothing to do with the plot of like, oh, we need to make it more of a musical. They genuinely got a whole nother generation to be like, I love this because Zac Efron's hot. So is Gabrielle. Well, they're all hot actually, let's be honest. And then it's really pretty and the choreo, oh my gosh.
Oh.
And then the magic, you know, like it's just a whole bundle of joy that you could take your 11-year-old to. as an older person. Not that I have children. I'm not that old yet, guys, you know. Not that you need to
You're
be
really
any
keeping
age
us
to have...
guessing.
I know.
What could it be?
We can play guess that age later. But, you know, if you wanted to take your kid to it, the adult could enjoy it just as much
I
as
see.
the
Yeah,
child.
you can hear the audience murmuring now,
Yeah, I know.
trying to guess how old you are.
Any guesses?
No, let's not.
Out of
just-
100%. What does Kate have on
What
Rotten
percentage
Tomatoes?
through life is she?
Yeah.
That's such a weird way to put it. What percentage? Anyway, that's
Cool.
my point of HSM3.
Fair enough. The reason
I disagree with your musical thing, but I'll let you talk.
that I brought that up was because one of the things that we talk about a lot on this podcast is titles. Because titles are pretty important to a franchise. Sometimes they'll screw it up, like how the fifth Bourne Identity movie was called Jason Bourne. That's just stupid. Who greenlit that? And sometimes they'll be great, like the Look Who's Talking trilogy. So I was thinking, I reckon, I have a theory, and because you've already up top disagreed with me, you're going to disagree with this too, just a fair warning.
All right, I'm ready.
You guys ready to disagree?
Absolutely.
We all ready to disagree with me? Everyone's
All
like,
right.
no.
Yeah, we'll get a big, you're dumb AJ on
Cool.
3 once I give the cue.
So I think the reason they get stuck in that is because the first film's called High School Musical, which, according to the tedious IMDb trivia, was just because they couldn't think of a better name for
Yeah, it
it.
was a working title, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like Snakes on a Plane,
Like
it was
Snakes
just
on a
like,
Plane,
yeah.
Same movie
So
too, eh?
I have a theory that...
I've had it with these motherfucking musicals in this motherfucking high school.
I have a theory that you could change the titles of the second sequels, the 2 and 3, and you wouldn't have to put a musical into them. Well, I mean, there's no musical in the second one. It's a talent show.
Yeah.
High school talent show. That's not my title suggestion. It's probably
Right.
better than my title suggestion.
Okay.
So, High School Musical, I'm thinking the second one you call High School Vacation, because that's what it's about. They're on vacation. Is it spring or summer?
Summer vacation.
Summer.
What time is it?
Summertime. It's
6:57. Good stuff.
Good. Comedy. Comedy.
Classically trained in theatre.
sorry. Continue.
I reckon you could call the third one High School Prom. And that way it's less about trying to put a musical into the end of it and more about there's music because we live in a universe where musical is the reality. So they still
Yeah.
sing.
Oh, yeah. What about High School Musical,
Yeah.
High School Vacation,
Yeah.
High School Musical 3?
Don't like it. There's no High School Musical 2. You can't call a classic AJ rant. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Sorry, when I asked that on the podcast, we usually not expecting an answer to come back because we'd
Yeah,
be like,
and this time you expected one, you didn't get one.
yeah, what an ironic state to be in, man. I was not ready for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have an issue with the titles. I don't really like that 3 has a subtitle.
High School Musical 2 needs a subtitle.
Yeah. High School Musical 3, Summer Vacation.
But High School Musical
Two,
3
sorry.
seems like, because it's the one that's like the movie moment one, it, like, I think if you went High School Musical and then you went High School Musical, A Working Holiday, and then you went High School Musical 3, Prom, it's like it brings that one down to the made-to-TV
Yeah, right,
movie
yeah.
versions, and it's like you
Right.
can't. So it's just like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there's no
you
bringing
know?
the third one down.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we've made
Yeah.
that clear.
Well, yeah. Just saying.
Nice. Okay, well, now we're going to move on to a little segment that we do every episode on the show, and that segment is called Continue the Franchise. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to be pitching our ideas for a High School Musical 4, or maybe a video game, or maybe like a...
Maybe Disney's Sing It High School Musical 2.
Yeah, because they never made...
I almost bought that today.
What, good. But before we do that... the High School Musical franchise has not been contained to films and films alone
Jeepers.
over its lifetime. So High School Musical has utilised a lot of other mediums outside of films. There are High School Musical books and comics, which...
Comics.
What do you can't put music in them. Like, I feel like
They're like those
is now
greeting cards.
Yeah.
They have like a 30-second song in them.
Yeah, totally.
On every
totally.
page.
There's also video games, as you said. I'm not sure where they go beyond Sing It. I don't know what else.
There's
do.
one for Nintendo DS, I know.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of the only original DS games they still have at the Queen Street JB Hi-Fi in Auckland.
Wow. Cool. Wonder why no one picked up that one.
Yeah. Like halfway through saying that, I was like, I'm in Christchurch.
There is also live concerts, as I'm sure you're all aware, stage productions, which all of our high schools did at some point, I think. Did yours?
No, I would have been out of high school before they did that.
What? No, mine happened in like year 9.
Tough shit.
Sorry, your reality doesn't line up with mine. There's also, for some reason, people want to mention the bad lip reading video. Apparently, there's a Disney like made a bad lip reading of High School Musical.
It's actually an official.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's also a reality TV series.
What?
That's right. Yeah.
The winners are in the credits of High School Musical 3 doing
That's
a dance.
right. Yeah. It just randomly has a shot of like it's like real tiny on the side of the screen. It's like this guy won some reality show. Here he is. He's kind of in the movie.
What a great prize.
Yeah.
And there's also a failed TV show pilot that never made it to air. There have also been remakes and adaptations of the series in Argentina, Brazil, and China. Maybe we should have watched them. I don't know. Does that count in the franchise?
I mean, maybe you're about to say it, but there is
Yes.
Can I say it?
You can say it.
So, Disney Plus,
Yep.
Disney's streaming service, they've announced High School Musical, the musical, a new TV series. I think 10 episodes have been ordered.
Yeah, and it's a mockumentary.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because that's what we want.
So who's excited for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lastly, there is also supposedly a High School Musical 4 in production, though nothing official has been announced since 2016. By all accounts, the fourth film would feature an all-new cast of characters, and rumours surrounding it were at one stage saying it would focus on a love triangle between the East High Wildcats and the West High Knights. I made it sound like every one of them is in a love triangle with each other. I assume it's 3 characters from those cliques that are in a love triangle.
Yeah, that's interesting because we never really saw the West High Knights.
No, exactly. Apparently, it was going to be called High School Musical 4: East Meets West.
Sorry, I remember
But
reading about that.
all of that information that I just said is from the High School Musical wiki, and wikis are notorious for making up shit because they really want them to happen.
Yeah, like the Airbud Australian.
There's a whole bunch of Airbud
Aussie
sequels
rules.
that we never got because over-eager wiki writers were like, it's going to happen, I know it. Maybe if I write about it, a producer will see it and make it for real. All right, who wants to go first?
I will because mine's real shit. So I thought it'd be cool to just see the straight up like what we would get if they made High School Musical 4 now, because it's been a decade since the last one. Since the last good one. And yeah, like it's High School Musical Reunion or High School Reunion, the musical. So,
Wow.
AJ, I'll let you can deal with that later.
I don't think I can salvage that, dude.
Well, it'd just be High School Musical,
the real world musical.
Reunion, and it's goes to cinemas. And so it's just they all come back and overeager Kelsey once again signs them up for the reunion musical.
It's very derivative so far of the last one. We'll rewrite it. It's fine.
Yeah, no. I'm not
I'm sorry, Richard.
this isn't an actual. I don't think my idea is particularly. I did preface it by saying it was a shit idea. So you can't hurt my feelings.
It won't stop me from trying.
And then they put on a musical that would cover everything they've kind of done over the last 10 years. And, would have a little bit of where, it'd be fun to see where are they now. Like, maybe Troy, we would see which one he pursued and became bigger. They'd probably do something like...
Well, we've actually seen that in 17 again, just saying.
Oh.
Chandler Bing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
whatever. Why is that such a weird... Can we talk about...
No, I'm done.
Sorry,
Why is Chandler Bing the older version of Zac Efron?
Yeah, come on. I mean...
I saw something once online that said they should have got John Stamos. And I'm like, that's who they should have got.
They should have got
you,
John
AJ. You look
Stamos.
identical.
Exactly.
Because he's so good to look at, too.
Yeah.
The eyes.
He is.
He's dreamy.
He is. Shout out to John Stamos. Kate, what do you want to see? Where do you want to see the series go?
Oh, well, I mean, the natural progression, but it's never going to work because everyone's kind of like, meh, is to see where to have their kids, be the next high school generation and see what they do.
The kids, at most, are 10 years old.
Yeah. But, that's just everyone's like, cool, seen it. Then I was thinking while you guys were talking about, like, it's literally a musical. Yes, it's been done on stage, but has it been, like, Broadway-ified? And then I was thinking, which is really warped and really stupid, I went and saw Peter Pan Goes Wrong the other night. Did everyone seen that? It's literally a stage show of a theatre community putting on a show that falls to pieces in front of your eyes, literally. And it was the funniest shit I have seen and the most refreshing theatre I had seen in so long. And I was like, they could do like a High School Musical Goes Wrong, and it would be hilarious. Like it would be so like the guys are like hanging from the ceiling, and everything's falling down around them, and they're getting their words wrong. It was so good. So that could be a fun little twist on the story. So maybe the kids go wrong. I don't know. Something like that.
But we'll love them just the same.
That's it.
My continue the franchise idea is I want a gritty remake of Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. Like, do the same thing, but just New York's not kind to her. And so she gets there and she gets kicked out of her apartment because they don't allow dogs, and then she can't find
and
any
then she
homeless.
gets mugged. Welcome to New York.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's called Sharpay's Not So Fabulous Adventure. And she doesn't get rewarded with a starring role in Broadway after living in New York for a
she ends
month.
up homeless.
Yeah, exactly.
One for the kids.
Yeah. Well,
and then you have Sharpay's Homeless Adventure.
Because then as well, though, the idea that it's not really a musical plays in better. Because, like, no, this is the real world. It's
and
not a
then
musical.
Ryan can drive past in his limo, and she's like, Ryan! And he's like,
remember High School Musical
what?
2?
Off he
You
goes.
fucked me over.
Yeah. Oh, I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, because he gets a Juilliard scholarship.
Yeah.
And she doesn't.
For Corey.
With Kelsey. Just saying.
Does anybody in the crowd have any ideas for sequels? Because if you do, I'm going to turn up this microphone and you can come up and grab it.
Just don't point it at the speaker.
Or do, and that can be your continue the franchise idea.
My continue the franchise is just a lot of feedback.
Cool, yeah, anybody got any ideas? Yep, come on up.
Here he comes. Big round of applause, please.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
What have you got for us?
We could do maybe like in the future.
Yeah.
It's like rest home musical.
Yes. Yes.
See what they're up to.
Oh,
And they're all
man.
trying to dance, but they're like hurting their backs and stuff. Yeah.
He's like,
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Cool, cool.
That's so good. I can't. They sing I can't dance, and they're like, yeah, we know. Song
dance. Cool, cool. Anyone else want to come up and spin it? It doesn't have to be good. You can say the first thing that comes
here
to
we
your
go, Dylan.
Come on up.
High School Musical, but they're all high.
Yeah. They're all high at a retirement village.
Combination of the two. Yep, come on up. What's your idea?
I'm more interested to see the extension of Ryan's story by School Musical.
That is the winner.
It's
and
great.
you said we weren't allowed to talk about it.
I didn't
Come
say
on.
we weren't allowed to talk about it.
AJ
I
was
said
like,
be careful talking about
but he
it.
was like, look, I really don't want to hear about that kind of thing. I'm not
That was
comfortable
so
with it.
good.
This has gone worse
I'm
than I could
so
have
into
possibly
that.
imagined.
It's great.
All right. Cool, cool. Well, if that's all the ideas, anybody else have any? I saw a hand, but it's just Simon with his hands and he's just praying.
Does anyone have any other comments?
Oh, yeah,
or
does anybody have any questions
Doesn't
or
have to be
anything?
the franchise, but yeah.
Oh, yep. Come on up. What is it?
High School Musical.
That's the wrong microphone.
High School Musical, but it takes place if the characters grew up in Soviet Russia instead.
Oh shit! It's good. I love it.
I need someone else to work on a pun.
The music sings you.
Yeah. It's still called High School Musical, but it's just written in that fun Russian language.
Typography is fun.
Yeah.
A retirement village full of stoned old people who are bisexual in Soviet Russia.
Wow, that's a movie I would see.
Tune in 2
Starring
weeks'
Zac
time.
Efron. Yeah. Does anyone have any other comments, questions, anything?
Come on up.
deeply offended that no one talked about the best song, which is obviously Boys Are Back. And they go on the big tires.
Yeah.
And you said that the other song was the only one where they go into Fantasyland, which isn't true because they do that in Boys. They do that in Boys Are Back.
That's true.
And there's like shadows that are like fighting.
Yeah.
And they're in
there's
like a
little
junkyard
kids.
for no
Yes.
explained reason.
But that's also...
And they're all shirtless and dripping. It's an
They are.
insane song.
How did
Yeah.
I miss that one?
Yeah, no, that's that was the one when we would go see it in the cinema. We were all like, "The boys are back," and we're like,
Were you shirtless and dripping with sweat as well?
yeah. Just like now, because it's real fucking hot in here. Like no one's mentioned it, but it's real hot in here.
Yeah. Anybody else want to tell us off for not saying their song was their favourite? Oh.
Simon does.
Wasn't High School Musical 2 filmed in like 5 weeks or something?
Oh, yeah. You
Whoa.
tagged me in this, eh?
Yeah.
So apparently High School Musical 2 was filmed in 5 weeks and it took 6 days to film
Bet on It.
Bet on It, which means that they used up that percent. Which is... The thing about Bet on It, right, is that...
It sucks and it's overrated.
But that, I think why it's become such a meme now is because Zac Efron, they're like, okay, you're going to be dancing like crazy in this one, and then they set it in a golf course, which is the widest open space with nothing to play with. You can't like in some of the others, he's like dancing off the walls or whatever.
Jumping up the stairs. Yeah, like a rotating corridor.
Yeah. But in Bet on It,
Production
it's,
value,
2 years
man.
before Inception.
it's like they would have got to the golf course. They would have got to the golf course and they're like, all right, what do we do? And the director's like, oh, you can splash the water. That's something fun.
Speaking of just back to my favourite one, number 2, here's another little sexy moment for you. When Gabriella's like having her like, I'm gonna go, she's like, I'm gonna go because everything's just fucked and I don't know what to do. And Zach's like, don't go. And they're on the bridge. And it's when she gives him back the necklace, right? Okay.
gut-wrenching.
For all you
Heart-wrenching.
pervs in the audience, he cops a mad feel. Seriously, I was like, so she's like against the bridge and she's all like, I'm singing because I'm so sad. And he's like, don't go. And he puts his arms around her waist and literally it's like, and hand and grope. And it's like blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
So, check it out.
Just while we're bringing out random moments from the franchise, I do. There's one bit that like it's like nails on a chalkboard to me in the first film, where Gabriella's friend, the other nerdy chick, is talking about like how they're nerds and they don't fit in with the cheerleaders, and she goes and like says, goes up to this group of cheerleaders and is like, oh, isn't Troy Bolton like the super hardy bomb? And then Gabriella goes, I guess I don't know how to speak cheerleader. And that fucking line.
To be fair, Troy is the super hottie bomb though.
Yeah.
We can all concede to that.
Yeah. That's,
Cool.
I don't have any issue with that.
No, of course. Just making sure.
I want to make that very clear.
Cool. Okay, well, hey, that about does it. You guys ready to about do it? I would really like to say that we're going to end this with like us performing one of the songs, but I don't know any of the lyrics well enough. And
Kate, you sang for
Kate,
like
sing something.
a few seconds before, and you can't tease us with a beautiful voice like that.
please
and not
sing the Hawaiian Fish song for us now.
No, I feel like there's way too many hardcores in the audience.
There's too many Hawaiians in the audience. Look at
Kuma,
offended.
kuma, kuma, muma, muma.
I'll pull up the
Huma,
lyrics.
nuka, nuka, apawaka.
Why do I have to sing? No,
Why
I
don't you
want to
sing it, dude?
Well, because, okay, I do know all the words. But one of my greatest regrets on this podcast is introducing me on Camp Rock.
Check out, he sings the whole song. It's weird.
Whoa.
Well, because we were like, because Kate was supposed to guest star on it and pulled it, and she was like, oh, I'm sick.
I was not.
And then, so we were like, okay, we got a pad for time, and I was like, I've got just the thing.
Well,
Let's
feel
do
like
a group huma numa nu nu nu.
I'm going to have to
Yeah.
pull up the lyrics for it.
'Cause I
Does
know
anyone in the audience know the lyrics? Grace, I know.
Yeah, I feel like
I know you do.
I feel like these front rowers are like ready.
Yeah.
I love that the one song we're going to sing is the like most culturally appropriating
Yeah,
song.
why are we not sing? We're all in this
Huma
together.
together,
Once.
once we-
Yeah, no one joined in. See,
This is what This is what happens. This is why we don't do it.
And there's
Okay.
that moment in Modern Family as well, and he's like, "I'm the cool dad," you know, and he's
Yeah,
like,
that's like in the
"I'm
first
this."
episode. Yeah.
Guys, the curry is pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's been my moment throughout the whole thing, but
A
the
long
choreography
time
is
ago,
amazing.
in a land far away, lived the pineapple princess Tiki. She was sweet as a peach and a pineapple way, but she also sadly speaky. Still, if you listen well, you'll hear her secret wish.
Aloha, everybody. My name
Pick
is
up the
Tiki.
microphone. My name is Tiki. I don't know the
Along
tune.
to the remarkable
doing?
prince, my sweet prince.
Huma numa huka numa paua makahiki malahini. Come on, everybody, sing these complicated lyrics with us. Hawana waka 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 niki poo poo poo. Hey. It's always dangerous when you want to make the best content for people and then you start talking about how you can sing some of the songs. And you're like, why did I mention that? Now I have to do it. Yeah. But hey, everybody, thank you so much for coming along to our first ever live show. It means a lot that you all came here and I hope you enjoyed it. Yay, round of applause for you guys. And round of applause for Mark and the Crafted Coffee Company as well. Thank you very much for helping us do this. Kate, if people like your singing, where do they hear you sing?
Literally or on the internet?
Just
Both?
anywhere you want to.
Well, if you live in Christchurch, if you come down to Fat Eddie's, you'll surely see me there every so often. But you can go to my Facebook, www.facebook.com/Kate Music Taylor, or just look up Kate Taylor Christchurch and you'll see some stuff with me and my all-girl big band, which is pretty fun. But if you do like a bit of a party, then Fat Eddie's is normally the place to check it out.
Cool. Okay, thank you very much for coming on the show, Kate.
My
Round of applause
pleasure.
for Kate.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys. And I have to admit, so I did the Legally Blonde one, which was super, super fun. And then I was like, hey, AJ, when you do High School Musical? And he's like, well, we have got a lot of people in the queue for that one.
Yeah.
So I'm very honoured to be
This was a coveted
here.
guest spot.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. And hey, thank you to all those who came here who had never heard of us before. And if you liked what you heard and you want to hear it recorded in a smaller room, then you can find Cult Popture on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and SoundCloud and iTunes. You can also email us if you want at cultpopturemedia@gmail.com and send us all the photos I'm sure you all took of us singing Huma Numa Nuka Nuka Hawa Pa'a. Is that it?
Close enough.
All right, we're all in this together, and sweet I'm the closest to the mic, and I don't know the lyrics, but I know the tune.
This together. I can't remember what part of the song we got up to, but here I am again. Richard, it's your boy. Okay, that was the episode. So thank you so much to Kate Taylor for joining us again. We heard your cries to have her back. She's great. We had a great time with her. And another great episode for the film franchise Fortnights history books. So here's the part of the episode where we reveal our next franchise. Usually we would do this through Franchise Roulette, but in the last few months we have started using Patreon. So if you would like to subscribe to our Patreon for $1 a month, you can suggest and vote on what franchises we do. You'd get to choose every second franchise, and our patrons have spoken. There was a bit of a pretty hotly contested episode, this one. I think it was the most votes we've ever had. I'm not going to reveal how many votes because it'll just make us sound small. Or maybe it won't. Maybe you'll get too jealous of how many votes we get. I'll keep it in the dark. But yeah, we are going to be covering Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, one of the most commonly suggested or asked about franchises. Every time I tell someone about this podcast, they ask if we've done Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. And so now I'll be able to say, yeah, we've done Lord of the Rings. We haven't done Harry Potter yet, though. But yeah, and if you're wondering how are we going to deal with the Hobbit thing, are you going to do it as treated as a Middle Earth episode? You're going to do it. So what we kind of the precedent we've set is that we do a franchise and then the following week skip over, but we've got something planned. If you remember last year we did an Oscar season, 3 episodes of the off-week podcasts to do with the Oscars, and we're going to be doing that again. So next week you will be getting an off-week podcast, and then the following week we'll get Lord of the Rings, then the following week you'll get off-week, and then the following week after that you will get Peter Jackson's The Hobbit trilogy, because we thought the episode would be too long if we talked about it, and I think there's almost more to say about The Hobbit being terrible than Lord of the Rings being good or great, so we didn't want to messy our Lord of the Rings episode talking about The Hobbit. So that's why we arrived at that decision. If you think it's the wrong decision, feel free to tell us and we'll read out your comment, but not really take it to heart. So that's us. That's 2019. Here's to a great, wonderful 2019. I've spoken for way too long. If you enjoyed this episode, the parts that weren't just me kind of rambling, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, Facebook. You can email us at cultpopture@gmail.com. All of our social media is essentially just at Cult Popture, wherever you can find that. So yeah, feel free, and also subscribe to our Patreon if you would like to have your say on what franchises you want us to cover. And if you want to subscribe at a slightly higher tier, you can also get 2 extra podcasts a month. So that is very exciting, and we hope to see you all for the rest of the year. And tell your friends, #spread the cult.